Good day. This is Dennis. I am the blue collar worker as always. And this episode is going to start a little bit different than the normal one. You see, I put a lot of effort into making sure I went step by step going through the illegal immigration situation. And I was, 2 episodes in when something happened. Ceuta happened. And one incident put the entire immigration argument under a microscope. And ironically, covered just about everything I was going to do in the illegal immigration conversation. So it was like, stop. Let's do this a little bit differently. Let's investigate what happened here properly, and everything's done in one go. See, at the end of July, thousands of people began arriving in Ceuta from Morocco. And now this wasn't a handful of people crossing a border. I mean, let's put this in stages. On the 29th of July, Ceuta's president was already reporting that more than 1,500 arrivals by sea in the preceding week, enough to overwhelm the reception system. Thank you, Euronews. Then, the situation escalated dramatically. By the end of the crisis, later estimates put the number of people who crossed or attempted to enter at around 72,000 people. Hey, Reuters. So stop and think about that number. 72,000 in a very small Spanish territory. And this is why I'm going to tell this story using a clock, because I'm interested in how quickly a situation can change. You've got people hearing information online. You've got people moving towards the border. You've got security forces. You've got boats. You've got swimming. You've got people arriving who don't know what they're walking into. And suddenly you've got a city dealing with tens of thousands of people. The first question isn't political, it's practical. How the bloody hell did this happen? Now here's what I'm going to do. Something slightly different. I'm not going to tell you what I know happened, because I don't. Neither does anyone else who hasn't got access to the complete intelligence picture. They're all competing explanations already. So some reporting that the movement was largely spontaneous, driven by social media, economic frustration, and false claims about Spain's border rules. Thank you, Wall Street Journal. The other people believe Morocco deliberately allowed or facilitated it. There are questions about organised transport, questions about behaviour of the Moroccan security forces. And now some of those questions are being examined by authorities rather than just people shouting at each other on the internet. Now, here's my rule. If something is possible, I'll call it possible. If the evidence says it's plausible, I'll say it's plausible. And if the evidence starts making it more likely than the alternatives, I'll say probable. And if it's actually established, I'll call it established. See, and there's something else. Unverified doesn't mean false. You have to remember that. Disputed doesn't mean false. It just means there's not enough evidence on. And that works both ways. A claim doesn't become true because 20 people repeat it, and it doesn't become false because the first person who mentioned it happened to put it on Facebook. It's the evidence that gets to move the needle. And social media is going to be a major part of this story because information clearly travelled through social media. There is now reporting online. Misinformation and social media coordination played a major role in encouraging people towards Ceuta. Thank you, Wall Street Journal. But again, don't jump ahead. Social media being used to mobilise people does not automatically mean there was a central organiser. Thousands of people can coordinate themselves remarkably quickly when they all believe the same thing. Equally, we shouldn't dismiss the possibility of organisation simply because spontaneous mobilisation is possible. That's the point of an investigation. And before anybody turns this into political football, remember what we're looking at. People died. People were injured. Children arrived. Reception facilities were overwhelmed. And now there's serious safeguarding questions. The death toll itself has changed as information has been gathered, which is why I'm going to date every number I use rather than pretending the final figure was known on day one. Current reporting puts the toll at least 96 people. That's Reuters. I mean, that's not a statistic for an argument. Those are people. So this is going to be a series, not because I need 12 videos, not because TikTok needs 12 videos, but because there are too many questions to squeeze into one. We're going to look at the timeline, we're going to look at the children, we're going to ask who got people there. We're going to examine the trucks, examine what the security forces were actually doing. We're going to look at the social media material. We're going to look at what happened to the people already living in Ceuta. And then after all that, we'll get to the courts. But we're going to start with something very simple. Don't listen to anybody's political interpretation. Don't listen to me. Watch the clock. Watch what happens hour by hour. Because if you understand Ceuta, the first thing you need to understand is how quickly that situation changed. And that will be part 2. If you like what you see here, please subscribe. As I say, put the like in there. Share this content with as many people as you can, because as you know, this is how the system works. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.